Yeah, it was wild. So I took that guy up on his offer and waltzed into the gym with him Monday afternoon, and it was a jiu-jitsu night, and straight away was out of my comfort zone. Didn't know what was going on. Didn't know what positions were what, but I got rear naked choked by a guy, and I asked him what it was and how to do it, and he taught me that afternoon a very basic way of a rear naked choke. And then it was a few days later in that same week, and I ended up catching I think it was a blue belt at the time, and got his back. And I think maybe with the sporting background and the AFL kind of the rustle and bustle of it all, I ended up just grinding a rear naked in, and from that moment on I was just fuck yeah, I can be good at this and do this, in a few days time I've learned something that happened to me, and then I've gone and done it to someone else quite quickly. So I think having the athletic background definitely helped. But yeah, it was that first week where I was put in my place and then shown something straight away, and then a few days later being able to go and apply it was this is the shit, this is sick, and I want to do this. So my name is Tasar Malone, and I'm 27. I was born and raised on the Gold Coast, but up in the mountains, up at Beachhorn, right up in the very tip-top Binnaburra. I am a professional mixed martial artist, professional fighter, and it's something that I do now full-time as my career and my job, and something that I love and chase my dreams. I grew up in Binnaburra, up at Beachhorn, and it was on some acreage with a big family. I think at one point there was maybe 8 or 9 of us in the one house, lots of brothers and sisters, and just some really good parents, amazing parents that just taught me so much from very early on. A lot about nature, a lot about using your environment, and getting connected with Mother Nature, and it's something that I found was really beneficial for me growing up. Learning to, I guess, if your food goes in the dirt, pick it up, brush it off, eat it, and get in touch with all the animals and plants and trees. So yeah, really grew up in the best spot, I think, in the rainforest up there, and something that I still hold close to me to this day. We went to primary school up there, up on the mountain at Beachhorn State School, and then when we got to high school, it was all the high schools were down on the coast, and I think for a little bit there we were all loading up into the car. I remember there would be 6 or 7 of us in the van, backpacks and sports gear loaded up to the roof, and we'd drive down, go to all our different trainings, and pick up my older brother and sister who were in high school from their high schools, and we would have our food in the car, or waiting for the other ones to finish, and then it was always a hour trip back up the mountain, get home late, have dinner and stuff, go to bed, rinse and repeat, do it all again the next day. So it wasn't until moving down the coast for high school that we made that move and that transition, and that was something that was very big change for us, going to a smaller space, smaller property, not having all the acreage and all the animals and whatnot around, but just something that we did, adapted to and made work. School wasn't really for me. I always had this little voice in my head telling me to, not telling me, but believing in myself that I could be someone and something big in sports. Professional athlete was always the dream and the goal. So Mum always wanted to put us in good schools, and we didn't have a lot of money at the time, but something that we were quite good at and what we had done a lot was our sports, and had already competed and got to some pretty high levels in athletics and cross country through primary school and whatnot, and playing representative soccer, and then we used that, or Mum used that, to then apply for a sports scholarship to Trinity Lutheran, which is a private school, and I do believe it's quite expensive, but having all our accreditations and things that we've done and achieved through our sports kind of as like a little package, I guess, as well with my sisters. We then used that and was awarded a sports scholarship to Trinity, and it was enough that Mum could get us into the school and give us the best education that she could provide for us. One of my younger sisters, Ambrosia, she's gone off to play hockey for Australia, which has been something incredible to see and watch. And I think as a kid, what I focused on was just going and doing the best I possibly could. I didn't think about it too deeply of having a responsibility, I guess, on my shoulders. And it's still something to this day that I will always believe in myself, but when other people believe in me as well, it makes me dig that little bit more or work that little bit harder. So I use it as like a motivation or a fuel, a catalyst for performance or performing. So I guess having the scholarship and seeing how hard my mum had worked to put us into a great position or at a great school, and her work ethic and struggles that she had gone through, then it made me want to do the best I possibly could and work as hard as I could. So, yeah.
Rosie and Tasar Malone share a sibling rivalry unlike most. The Malone pair are pushing each other to reach the pinnacle of completely different sports.
One's a fighter, the other a hockey-roo, and both extremely competitive.
The first thing I fell in love with that was actually motorbikes. So for my 5th birthday, on the day, I had a blindfold on. I got taken down to the garage, and garage was opened up, and in there was a Pee-wee 50, and straight away just jumped on it, started riding, fell in love with it. And I used to tell my parents then that I was going to be a motocross superstar. It was out for a bit, but then when I was at school, I then was playing with my mates and we were kicking a soccer ball around. So soccer was the first sport that I actually got into and was playing, and that was what I was going around saying that I was going to be great and I was going to fulfill my dreams and be a professional soccer player. And then I got pretty high levels, ended up captaining for the regional side at States and getting to representative teams, and then it didn't quite work out and it sort of shattered me a bit. But there was a voice in my head, that same little voice, I guess it's my soul or me, my spirit, saying that to like not quit and to potentially go down another avenue. And my uncle and my cousin, they had played AFL all their life, and my brother. They used to sort of rustle me up a bit, beat me up and say that I was soft for playing soccer and that when I want to become a man, I can play AFL. So I then took them up on it. I think I was like 15 or 16 and got into AFL and quite quickly started climbing the ranks and doing quite well with that. And by the time I was, I believe, about 18 or 19, I had an opportunity in front of me playing pre-season with the Southport seniors and looking at a potential, I guess, draft or fit in or position with the Gold Coast Suns reserves, and was doing the pre-season with those guys, taking it full serious, doing every bit I could, leaving no stone unturned. And I was really looking at a potential contract for that coming season to play senior footy as a professional and with the Gold Coast Suns. And it didn't quite work out. Got to the time where contracts were handed out and they wanted to extend myself and 3 others' spot to give us a little bit more time to prove ourselves. Came down to 3 of us, and I and 1 other missed out on the last spot. And it sort of shattered me a bit. I thought that I was really going to achieve it and make it happen. And then I guess that's what then led to me finding martial arts. And I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason. So when I was in that low after footy not working out, I was sort of went back to local footy, was playing but not really wanting to be there and do it. And then I went out one night and I bumped into some random dude out on the streets or at some place, and he was talking to me about this MMA thing and about martial arts, and I had no idea what he was talking about. I'd never been in any boxing fights or done any training or any martial arts beforehand, and he invited me down to his gym to just come try it out. And so I took him up on it. That next Monday afternoon I walked into the gym and gave it a crack, and after that first session I was like, this is what I want to do. I feel I can control my destiny a bit more than leaving it in the hands of other people. And I was like, this is just so good. I love every part of it. There's so much to it. It's a never-ending journey, and yeah, really just was like, this is what I'm going to go for and become a professional in. So I took that guy up on his offer and waltzed into the gym with him Monday afternoon, and it was a jiu-jitsu night, and straight away was out of my comfort zone. Didn't know what was going on, didn't know what positions were what, but I got rear naked choked by a guy, and I asked him what it was and how to do it, and he taught me that afternoon a very basic way of a rear naked choke. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to remember that one, and started practicing it and whatnot, and was like, this dude just beat me, and he made it look and feel effortless to him. But then I was like, I want to learn this, or I want to be able to do that to someone. And then I think it was a few days later, we had done a couple striking classes and stuff in between, and then it was a few days later in that same week, and I ended up catching I think it was a blue belt at the time, and got his back. And I think maybe with the sporting background and the AFL kind of the rustle and bustle of it all, I ended up just grinding a rear naked in, and from that moment on I was just like, fuck yeah, I can be good at this and do this, in a few days time I've learned something that happened to me, and then I've gone and done it to someone else quite quickly. So I think having the athletic background definitely helped. But yeah, it was that first week where I was put in my place and then shown something straight away, and then a few days later being able to go and apply it was like, this is the shit, this is sick, and I want to do this.
Guys, ever since I was 5 years old, I used to tell my family and friends that I wanted to become a professional athlete. It started off as soccer. That didn't happen. I kept on chasing, and then went to AFL. I got close, and that didn't happen. And now standing inside this octagon, I think with a bit of noise and encouragement from the crowd, I think the next time you see me inside here, I'll be creating my dreams and becoming a professional athlete.
I was living in a rental. I had bills coming out. I was training, doing my MMA, but I was like, the cost of me working each week and then having everything come out was only leaving me a small amount at the end of the week to then sort of live off. And I was like, if I can save up enough money to then move out of the rental and cut all my costs and bills and overheads out, that then I could invest that time and finances into my MMA and my dream. I stayed in the job, saved up until I could buy the van, and then I worked a little bit more to then get enough to have aside to live off. And then I made the call, and I believe it was probably only maybe last year, 2023, early on in the year, maybe February, March sort of period before one of my fights. I bought it in 2023, so coming up to 1 year now. It was roughly about that February, March period in 2023 when I bought it. Saved up all my pennies and bought it, and a little bit rough around the edges, but it's a little space that's quite special to me to be able to pursue my dreams and live out of. So, Eternal MMA, welcome to my crib. It's not much, but I love it. I've got all my bits and bobs, like tools and all that sort of stuff in there, cooking gear, cutlery, laundry stuff. I've got my protein powder here in the corner that I have after my sessions, some spearfishing and fishing gear because I love living off the land. So when I've got opportunities between sessions to go jump in the water in the ocean, I'll either grab my spear gun and my mask and my fins and go for a dive, or if the conditions aren't good for a spear, then I'll get the old rod and reel and try and catch some dinner. Got some solar on the roof, which is what I run like my phone charger and any little things electrical to charge up and use. Little gas cooker in there that I use these like butane cans with, so just pull those out, do a little cooking on the side. This is my favorite thing, a little stool, super simple. I just twist it, pull and twist, and then this is my seat that I sit on. So I usually make like my food and I'll sit here. Beautiful waterfront views out the front of the swamp with the ibises, but I love it. So it's good. Just being able to change it up wherever I go. And a bee. I wonder if this dude's alright. Bees are fucking amazing. Hey, they man, they like, if you learn about bees, they're so crazy. They've got like this whole system of ones that are like workers, ones that go out and like get all the pollen and stuff, ones that protect the hive, and then they're all like doing things to look after the queen, and they all play their role and part, which is pretty sick. Look at this little dude, what a cool little fella. But yeah, man, I love it, love nature. It's what I grew up in, so being able to live pretty simple and do just what I want and chase my dreams and my passion and have people that believe in me is really cool, really amazing. The structure of how we're taught to have all these crazy bills and debts and things like that, it wasn't really for me. I never really liked it. Each their own. I know that for many people it's the way it is and you can't always avoid it. But I always like doing things differently, and I guess like living real simple and not many overheads has been something that has been attractive for me, because then I've been able to put the little bit of money that I do have into my buying gear or buying food and chasing the dreams and goals until hopefully one day it all shifts and changes, and then I can enjoy the other side and have the nice things and whatnot and be able to do amazing things with the people around me. So it's coming, it's happening slowly, and I'll always love the both sides of it, the yin and the yang. It's definitely not easy, and a lot of people might not be able to do it, but I just made it work, and I've made it work since, and something that I've kind of fell in love with, living quite simple and minimalistic and just being super present and grateful for everything I do have around me. I guess first things first, I am proud of myself for never quitting on myself and always believing in my dreams and my goals, and that I can achieve this. Through my amateurs, I was very active, just wanted to continue to put myself in that environment and to learn and grow and go out and perform. And the amateurs was one where I started off on some highs, and then I went through a run of some losses in a row, 3 in a row, and then I started to question myself of like, maybe this isn't for me, maybe it's time to pack it in and to stop. But I'm grateful that I hung on to that spirit and that belief in myself that I can, and that I'm not that far away from the guys that are doing it professionally, and training alongside them. It showed me that it wasn't that far away. Then a couple more wins at amateurs, and then I was like, it's now time to go all in and make the call, become a professional athlete, achieve my childhood dreams that I've always wanted to do, and go and fulfill that and make myself and the people that believe in me proud. So yeah, turning pro and then going on a good run for that, coming into CMBT training centre and having a great support network around me, amazing facilities, and then going on a tear. So, 2-0 now as a pro, coming into my next third fight to make it 3-0. And then, it's just been super rewarding and fulfilling to do this and to have people that believe in me and back me along the way. So in 2023, I went undefeated as a professional and was awarded the Breakthrough Fighter of the Year. And then it's been this thing now to continue to step up to the plate and prove not only myself but everyone around me that I can and will be great, and 2024 is going to be even bigger. My eyes are set on that eternal MMA featherweight belt, and I do really want that. So it's always one step at a time, but I'm just hungry for it. I want to go after it. I want to get that #1 spot and be the #1 Australian featherweight.